वेलकम टू माय चैनल। जानेंगे इनविट्स क्या हैं आज के वीडियो में। So what are InvITs? InvITs are infrastructure investment trusts. And what do these trusts do? These trusts basically help in development of infrastructure projects in India. And now what are the different kind of infrastructure projects in India? It can be roads, it can be rail lines, it can be power generation, it can be telecom towers, it can be power optic cables, it can really be anything. So how does an InvIT work basically? So first of all, any infrastructure company which is publicly registered can apply to become an InvIT. First, this company has to become a sponsor. They are the main sponsors behind application of an InvIT. Then the company appoints a trustee in either in a sole form or in a SPV form where the shares are split 50-50 to further see the action of InvIT. From this point onwards, the company has no direct correlation with the InvIT. The trustee has been trusted with the responsibilities of managing the InvIT. And now then trustee appoints further managers, which are project managers and investment managers. So the job of investment managers is to see कि जो financials हैं, जो investment है, जो return है assets के ऊपर और जो भी उनकी investments हैं वो ठीक रहे. Project managers का काम है day-to-day operation of InvITs देखना. Now, how do InvITs run? InvITs can be publicly traded or they can be privately registered. If an InvIT is privately registered, you cannot buy a share on the stock exchange of it. If the InvIT is publicly registered, it is regulated by Stock Board Exchange of India. It is regulated by SEBI. So you can go on any stock exchange app, Grow or Zerodha, and directly buy stocks like you would of any other company. So what are the different publicly traded InvITs right now that you can invest in? There is Power Grid, there is IndiGrid Trust, there is Nexa Trust, there is IRB InvIT, there is Bharat Highways InvIT. So there are approximately 8 to 9 publicly registered InvITs in India. So how does SEBI regulate InvITs? What are the guidelines that SEBI has provided to InvITs? Well, there are two main things that we as retail investors must know. Number one, that out of all the investments that a InvIT makes, 80% of the investments have to be made in already constructed assets, not under construction assets. So already completed infrastructure projects, 80% of investment has to be there. That generates ROI for the investors, and 20% of the remaining portfolio can be invested in under construction assets. Number two, the main thing that we should know is with the guidelines of SEBI, any InvIT has to redistribute 90% of its income to its investor as dividends or as interest. So they cannot keep more than 10% of the income that they receive. They have to redistribute it on a quarterly basis to its investors. Now, let's talk about what is the difference between a REIT and an InvIT. Well, the structure in which they run and in which they are formed is very similar. But what is the difference? REITs primarily deal in commercial real estate. In real estate primarily, but still primarily in commercial real estate. Whereas InvITs, they primarily deal in infrastructure projects. So the scope of work of infrastructure InvITs is way higher than REITs. REITs are restricted to real estate, whereas InvITs, the scope or structure of InvITs allows it to focus on a more variety of projects. अब आप ये पूछेंगे, कंपनीज InvIT बनाती क्यों हैं, ट्रस्ट बनाती क्यों हैं, उनका क्या फायदा है ट्रस्ट बनाने में? Well, there are two main reasons why the companies are making these trusts, right? First thing is tax exemptions. तो एक प्राइवेट लिमिटेड या LLP या फिर एक पब्लिकली ट्रेडेड जो कंपनी है उसकी टैक्स लाइबिलिटीज आर वे हायर देन ए ट्रस्ट. ट्रस्ट को ये टैक्स बेनिफिट्स बहुत सारे मिलते हैं जो एक पब्लिकली ट्रेडेड या प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज को नहीं मिलते हैं. And number two, what you have to remember is these companies also need continuous investment for expansion to invest in new projects. So how do they do that without taking too much loans from the bank, without incurring too much debt, or without diluting their ownership, without giving away equity? What they do is they set up a trust which allows them, in name of the trust, to get investment from retail as well as institutional investors. How can one start InvIT investing? If you already have a Demat account, just type InvIT or just search trust word in the search column, and there you will have all these publicly traded InvITs that I've already mentioned, and then you can do your research. You can see what their dividend yield is, what their capital appreciation has been for some period of time, and then you can just buy their share just like you would buy a share of any other company. Now let's talk about what are the advantages of InvIT investing. Well, InvIT investments are, because they are regulated by stock exchange and they are present on the stock market, they are highly liquid. So if you want to break your investment, you just, with the click of a button, you can break your investment and the next day the money will be transferred to your accounts. Second benefit of InvIT investing is diversification of portfolio. So you are already, let's say, investing in stock market, mutual funds, that is, or independent stocks or real estate or gold. This is another asset class where you get a silent ownership. That brings us to the third benefit, which is the passive nature of investing. You just have to invest money, you just have to buy shares. There are managers, there's a team, there's everybody who's working on your behalf. So you don't need to manage it actively. So the effort on your part is way less. And last but not the least, regular dividends. So just like a rental investment or a REITs investment, you get regular dividends on a quarterly basis from your REITs. It depends what the dividend yield is. At the end of every quarter, the trust is going to announce that this much of dividend per share they're going to give to the investors, and in the fourth month after that quarter, that money is going to be transferred to your account. So what are the disadvantages of InvIT investing? Well, number one, there is no direct control. So since it's a very passive investment, you don't actually get a say in which infrastructure projects the company is going to invest, in which infrastructures, how much money they are going to invest. Number two, the InvITs are a recent asset class. They don't have a proven track record of last 40, 50, 60 years. So you have to be wary of the risks associated with that. Number three, since it's on stock and you are ultimately the trust has been set up by a sponsor, which is the major shareholder in the company. So the company's performance directly or indirectly is going to correlate with the performance of the trust. Ultimately, the trust performance is also dependent on the company's performance. And number fourth, which I have found personally the biggest drawback of investing in InvITs till now, that is the capital appreciation compared to equity mutual funds or to independent stocks is really not there. So it's a very good source of rental income, but if you're looking for capital appreciation, I don't think you're going to get it here. So what is my experience and how I go about investing in InvITs? Well, I invest, you can say, about 5 to 10% of my portfolio in InvITs, and my InvIT investments are bifurcated among the different trusts. So I primarily invest in IRB InvIT Trust and the Power Grid one and IndiGrid Trust one. And what is my experience? My experience is that till date, these companies are way less volatile. They are way more stable in terms of their share price going up or down, and the dividend payments have been quite regular in my account. So this is an investment which gives you a regular income rather than increasing your money by the way of capital appreciation. So what I would suggest is just invest maybe 5 to 10% of the portfolio, and to minimize your risk, also divide that between these 2-3 different trusts that I have mentioned. A few key points that I would like to mention: that number one, after every quarter, the dividends you get in your email, in your registered email, as a form of a distribution advice. Number two, at the end of the financial year, after it ends, you are going to get a form 64B. You must keep it and download it, because your chartered accountants or whoever is filing tax returns on your behalf is going to need it. So all in all, this was all about InvITs, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and see you in the next one.